Hello, everybody. This is Annie. I am coming to you live from South Carolina, USA, and I am a really special guest today. If you can see, Coach Karen is on my show today, and I am so thankful for her for saying yes. I know it's been a year when I asked you about it, but I know you're busy, but thank you so much for coming to my show, and I really appreciate you for for coming here to share your journey. So before we go on, I just want to say good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night, wherever part of the world you may be in. We are here, so please stop by and if you are watching, please say your name in the chat, and we can give you a shout out. So for the first question, I would like to ask Coach Karen to could you tell us yourself? What were you doing before you joined this business, and what is the main reason why you joined this business, Coach Karen?
Alrighty. Well, first off, thank you so much, Annie, for inviting me here to be here today to share a little bit about my journey. I can't believe how much time has passed. It's like you said, a year since you asked me. I think it's just this year has been a lot of traveling for me. So that's probably why my schedule is a bit hectic, but I'm so grateful that we finally able to connect and be here together. So as Annie introduced, my name is Karen. I'm currently living in Vancouver, Canada. I'm a mom of two. And prior to being a part of this online business community, I was a dental technician, and I actually owned my own small dental lab, which I operate out of my home. I started that small lab thinking, I can work from home, have more time for my kids. But the truth was it didn't turn out that way at all. As a small business owner, I ended up working lots of hours because now you're juggling everything, right? From the finance to the marketing, to the delivery, to the shipping, to the actual hands-on work. So I ended up working 12 to 16 hours a day. And as a mom with young kids back then, I felt terrible. I felt really guilty that I didn't have time for my kids because honestly, when we were young, we're growing up, I'm sure as girls, as women, we have those dreams, we're going to get married, going to have two kids, we're going to have this beautiful, lovely life. But that was not the life that I envisioned for myself, working all the time, missing out on my kids' life. So when my daughter entered high school, that's when I realized, my kids will not be kids for much longer. They're going to grow up. And if I don't do anything to change our current situation, I'm sure in a few years when they leave, for university or college, I'm going to probably look back and have tremendous regrets that we missed so much time because, no matter, you can always make more money, but you can never buy back your time. So that's when I realized, I guess it was a wake up call and realized I needed to do something. And to be honest, working online was nowhere on my list of to-do things to buy back my time. But by God's grace, I did come across this business, and probably like yourself, Annie, I'm not sure if you were like me, but I was scared. I was skeptical. I've never done anything online, and a lot of the online back then you hear is a lot of bad thing, like scam and all that stuff. So I was a little bit nervous, but after doing my due diligence and just checking out the business, I realized this is my opportunity. This aligns with what I needed at that moment because I couldn't just shut down my lab and go and start a different business because that will still take a lot of time. But with this online business, with the flexibility and I can actually work when I want or when I have time, it kind of fits with what my crazy schedule. So that's when I decided to give it a try because I'm like, nothing changes if nothing changes. And the reason I say, with this business, it's not going to take me away from my current work, which is still going to provide us with that income that we need to sustain our life. And then if this thing takes off, then I can slowly scale back. So that was what I was doing prior. I, became a part of this online community or started my business.
Thank you, Coach Karen. I know all of us, well, when I saw this business, actually, I was skeptical as well, like you are. And of course, we all joined this, went into this digital business because of time and financial freedom. It's like me, I'm a nurse and I'm busy. And I actually always away and I don't see my husband for so many days. So that's why I said I need to do something, but I wasn't really expecting to do an online business because I don't have a marketing experience, you know. But it's a great thing that our digital and business has this really step-by-step training that we can follow even for us that are not experienced in this business, that we were able to do it. So before it's like I'm sure that going through this business, it's not like always it's always there's always a challenges, there's an ups and downs. So what were some of the biggest challenges that you encountered, how you overcome those challenges?
Yeah, most definitely. Obviously, starting something new and something that you've never done before, you're going to run into, challenges and stuff. So for me, there were a couple of challenges when I started. One was that I had a skeptical spouse that probably many of the ladies in our community have the same thing. It's a skeptical spouse that didn't believe in the online. So then I didn't have his support, even though he didn't really want me to do it. But in the end, he agreed to let me do it with the condition that he doesn't want to see it, hear it, or know about it. So that was a bit of a challenge because I told you I was not technical and anything to do with computer technical. He did it all. So now I cannot ask for his help. So I got to learn it on my own. And at the same time, I can't let him see me. So then my challenge was, it was doable. So I would have to wait until everybody goes to bed, which is probably not hard because I typically work really late. Like I work on my lab till like 12 or 1 in the morning. And by then most, my kids, my husband are already sleeping. So then that's when I would open up my laptop and start my training. Doing the step-by-step training as you mentioned, Annie. So that was a bit of a little bit of a challenge. It wasn't tremendous, but it's just that when you have a partner or a spouse and you're starting something new, you're all excited and you don't have their support, it could put a little bit down on you because of course whenever we have something exciting, something great, who do we want to share with? Like with our loved one, with our spouse, with our kids, right? But we couldn't. But fortunately for me, both of my kids were super supportive. So they were my tech instructor. So anything I get stuck, I would ask them. And mind you, at that time, my son was only he was only about 10. And my daughter was a little bit older, but they definitely know more technical skills than I did. So they helped me with that. So that was a blessing. And then the other thing was just the time challenges, right? Because as I was working lots of hours, like basically 12 to 16 hours a day, no time for anything. But so that it was really hard to get that extra time in. But I knew that I needed to make this short-term sacrifice so that I could get that long-term gain, which means that I would have to, like I said, stay up late. So that means sacrificing another 1 or 2 hours of my sleep with my sleep deprived schedule. But because my desire to be present for my kids was so strong that I didn't mind. I knew that I knew that this is my solution. And if I don't do it, I'm just going to be regret because, we all have a choice. I could have chose not to do it, or I could chose to go to sleep. But then that means today I would still be in the lab grinding away, 12 to 16 hours a day and not even getting ahead, just enough to pay our bills or get by. Because definitely in the last few years, the economy has been crazy with interest rate, inflation, all that stuff. I'm so grateful. And for sure, definitely during the pandemic, when the world is shutting down, my business was affected. My dental lab was affected, right? We were shut down because, dentists couldn't see patient. So we had no work. But I was so grateful during that time. I had this business. So we were still having a good stream of income coming in. Actually, COVID was I really enjoyed it because I get to shut down my lab. I didn't have to work. So I didn't have to feel guilty that I didn't work because there was no work there. And I get to really enjoy and be present with my kids and enjoy. But at the same time, we didn't have that financial stress or burden because we weren't having any source of income. So truly, this business has been a blessing despite all the challenges, but it all worked out for us and for me overall. So I've been doing this for 6 years now. And I was fortunate enough to shut down my dental lab last year. So I guess you can say that I am full time with this business, which means I just don't have any other job or business that I do. But full time doesn't mean that we're doing 8-10 hours a day. Full time just means there's no other job. So someday maybe 2 to 3 hours. Someday I may do 4 or 5. It just depends on what the day look like. But the beautiful thing is that I get to decide, create my own schedule. If the kids have an event at school, I will block off that day and go to my son's school for the event. Or if I have some trips coming up, I can always block off my calendar. And that's part of the reason why I had to delay this interview with Annie till now. Yeah, so that was some of my challenges in the early days. Yeah.
Thank you, Coach Karen. Yes, I mean, there's always challenges. Like you said, there's like skeptical husband. My husband's very skeptical because they are used to traditional business, and to do this business is totally different, out of their comfort zone. So it's very skeptical. But right now he's actually maybe 50% support. It's better than nothing. But thank you for that information. And I know that you actually mentioned, I saw you when you went live in our private group about uh, your anniversary. And it was like you were crying, and it was like very emotional and touching. And I was like, wow, the things that you have accomplished with this business. And of course, my next question, you already answered some of it, but I just want for everybody to know what are some of the meaningful changes that this business have done for you since you started this business in your life.
Yes. So my intention or my goal when I started this business was to have more time for my kids. And of course, more time. But of course, the reality is we all need, the first thing that we need is money, like an income. Then that way we can buy our time, right? Because the reason before I was working a lot, so I didn't have time. But if I work less at my lab, that means we'll have a smaller income, which cannot, pay for our living expense. So that's why looking for this business is to increase, to supplement my income so I can cut back the dental lab work and have more time for my kids. So my ultimate goal has always been time for my kids. And this business has truly helped me able to achieve that, because when we work online, using the technology, the software is just like what's available to us these days. We can learn, I know it's cliche, but to work smarter and not harder. And because of that, I'm able to have more time with my kids. So I think even though financially, it's a true blessing what this business has done. So the list can go on. So one is that I was able to help my parents retired without any financial stress, because my parents were immigrants to Canada. Raising 6 children was not easy, and they were never educated about saving for retirement. At that time, they were just worried about putting food on the table and putting a roof over our heads and getting us through school, and that's it. And I'm sure that's the same situation for most immigrant parents, right? So you don't really, because coming from Vietnam, or a country where it's very unstable, you don't really think that far into the future. You just worry about today. So now that they are at the age of retirement, they don't have anything, and things are not getting easier or cheaper. So I know that it's a financial stress for them to retire, but because of this business, we're able to support them to retire financial free. And that is something that has always bothered me for years. But because of my limited income back then, even though as much as I want to help them, I know I didn't have the capability, because our income was only enough to support our family. So I never thought that, how is it possible? Because already working 16 hours a day, what else can I do, right? So that was a true blessing that this business allowed us to do, because with the lucrative extra income that we're earned, not only are we able to support our family comfortably, but also my parents in retirement. And then also along with that, I was able to move back to the city, where closer to my family, parents, my friends. Because of my dental lab business 10 years ago, I had to move out of the city. So it was like far. It was about an hour away from my parents, an hour away from where all our friends. So it was very inconvenient. So that was a true blessing. It's almost like having my life back. And then on top of that, the time to be able to be present for my kids, and actually to be able to travel with no worries, like without asking for time off or without financial worry, because of this business being global and also portable. As long as you have internet connection, you can run it from anywhere with from your phone or your laptop. And the world is going digital, so you can get internet basically from anywhere. So it's crazy that since I closed down my lab, I think I've traveled so much in 2023. And I thought that was a big year, but in 2024, it's a lot too. I've been like pretty much traveling every month over the last few months here. So I just came back from Abu Dhabi, I think just last week, to be honest. And then I'll be heading to New York next week. And then I'll be down at Florida in December. So it's just on the go. And my previous job would not allow me to do this because it was a hands-on. If we travel, that means we have to shut down the lab. That means no income, no business, right? So that's a really thing where I feel like I actually own my own time, because I know for some of the people that I know that have businesses that are doing well, but they're still really stuck. Like they can't travel freely because if they leave their business, have to shut down, or they're worried that they're going to lose customer. So then they can't travel as freely as I am. Or people that has a job, right? That gets good income, but what in a year you can only get like 3 or 2-3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks if you've been working with a company for a long time. And even so, with that time, you have to really, like my friend, she works in healthcare, probably like you, Annie, but she have to submit her vacation like about a year in advance, right? They have to pre-plan their vacation a year in advance to submit it so they get the time they want off. But then, life happens. Sometimes you can't plan that far ahead. So for us, it's been a true blessing with what this business has allowed us to do.
Thank you, Coach Kerry. Yes, like you said, yeah, I have to turn my I have to turn my vacation request just 2 weeks ago for next year, and it's so hard because you don't know what's gonna happen next year. But you have to pre-plan everything because you're still stuck a 9 to 5 job, right? So, but I'm glad I am on here because I'm working towards my financial and time freedom. Like, hopefully, I'll be there like you are right now. So thank you so much for that. Do you have any regret of doing this business?
Yes. So the only regrets I had was that I didn't know about this business sooner. But I think everything, happens at the right time in the right place. So even though I say I regret not knowing it sooner, but I feel like if I did find out sooner, maybe I would not have the courage, or I may not be in a position to actually take action and join. Because, working with this business 6 years, I've met a lot of people. I've done a lot of coaching call, and a lot of them have told me, you know what, I've seen this business 2 years ago, but I didn't join, but now they are. So, it's all the timing. So whether you feel stuck at your 9 to 5, or you're yearning more time with your family, or just having that time freedom to be able to travel freely without any restraint, with work or with time or with finance, then, this could be the solution you're looking for. But, there are opportunities out there. It's like the end of the day, you just got to do your due diligence. So to see if this business is a fit for you, it was for me, it's for Annie, it's for many other people in our community, but it may be for you, it may not. So all I can say is like, just do your due diligence. Even though this business is not for you, at least I promise you will walk away with more information, with more knowledge of really how the online space work. And that way, when you explore other opportunities, you have something to compare to, right? Because if you've never done anything online, you don't even know where to start. And the beautiful thing about our business is one thing that Annie mentioned, which we both love, is that honestly, I believe that this business is truly, truly created and designed for ordinary, everyday people like you and I, where we don't need to have technical skills. We don't need to have background experience in business or even on marketing, because our business is really designed to take you from A to Z. So from scratch. I've worked with people that never open a laptop in their life, right? Because they've only used a phone, and there's no need for them to use a computer or laptop, but we're able to teach them the basic skill of how to operate that laptop and be able to launch their business and create income online. So It's not rocket science, because it's just the myth of earning online just means you got to be really good at computer, but that's not true, because if it is, I would not be sitting here today, because I am no good at computer to start. But it's like any skills in life, you will learn if you are, you commit to learning it. It's not hard. It's like you just have to commit your time to learning if you are looking for a change. Just like anything, if you want to become a nurse, you have to go through school, right? That's 4 years program. And you can't just want to be a nurse and decide to show up to the hospital and be a nurse the next day. You have to go through that training. So the same thing is like, for us, we do have all that built in for you, right? And as long as you have that desire to have more time or more money, this could be the solution for you.
Thank you, Coach Karen. I know I was asking, you already answered the last question I was supposed to ask you. What advice would you give to our followers who are not pin setters? And you already answered that. So thank you so much for that information. Yes, Coach Karen is actually one of our top leaders in our digital business. And if you like join our business, you will see her in one of our new platform educational. She was just one of those that teaching us how to properly do our business in a way where you can actually earn more based on your skill, based on how you properly arrange your business. And thank you so much for that, Coach Karen. And I do appreciate you for coming in my show. And of course, before I let you go, I have some people who want to say hi to you. And this is Emily, my friend from California. She say hello.
Hi,
And of
Annie.
course, she say thank you for taking time to give your insight. And of course, I have a friend from India, which is Soma, and she wants to say hello to you also. And one of my also my friends, Marichu, she wants to say from California. So thank you so much, Coach Karen, and I do appreciate your time and your for sharing your journey to us, and we learned so much. If you all, to all my followers and viewers, if you want to know about our business, you can actually register into whoever you want, Coach Karen or my side, to register into our pre-webinar every Tuesday and Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific time and 8 p.m. Eastern time. And I know Vancouver is Pacific time, isn't it, Coach
Yes.
Karen? Yeah, because I used to live in Vancouver, Coach Karen.
Oh, wow.
Over 2 years, yes. I used to live in there, and I love that place. I said, if one day I want to move to another country, I would go to Canada, but it's in part of Vancouver because I used to live there, and I love that place. I love the weather. It's
Yeah,
not too cold, it's not too hot, and
true.
there's
But
not
we
too
have a
much.
lot of rain.
Yes, but there's not too much. I mean, snow. That's the
Yeah,
one thing about it.
definitely. We don't get too much snow. Yeah.
Yes. But thank you. And I know you are busy, so I just want to say thank you so much. And if you have any other thing that you want to say to our viewers before I let you go?
Well, I just want to say thank you for those of you that tuned in live or those that are watching the replay. And, if you're still following Annie and watching all these workshop, maybe there is something inside of you that's nudging you to try it, but you're probably just scared. Like, I get it. It is scary to walk into the unknown, to try something different. But with how our platform is structured, we guide you every, step by step. There's nothing huge. So the first step that you'll need to do is just to register on Annie's website or reach out to her and watch that free workshop. It's free, so it doesn't cost you anything. Well, maybe just about 20 or 90 minutes of your time. But like I said, you'll walk away with a lot of information, and that way we can't make a decision when we don't have all the information. So we're just trying to provide you with all the information, and you decide, right? And then if after watching the webinar and you're still curious, you still are interested in knowing more, then the next step is just to pay our one-time membership fee of $149. That will get you into our community. You get to meet other business owners like myself, Annie, and thousands of others that are using this exact same system to create a full-time income online. and you'll get access to those videos that teaches you the strategies that I did, and just about our compensation plan, how the business is structured. Then after that, then you decide, hey, is this for you? Then we help you get your business set up. But if it's not for you, then you can request for that refund of $149 that you paid. So really, you have nothing to lose but a lot to gain. So that's all I have for people to do. It's like, there's just so information, there's just so many opportunity, but the thing is, you just have to do your due diligence and check it out. Just don't pass up an opportunity because you don't have all the information, right? Because we've had so many people that have came back 2 years, 3 years later and decide to start now, and they all say the same thing to me. They're like, oh, I wish I would have started like 2 years ago when I saw it, right? But it's always the fear that's holding people back. So fear is only something that we think of. It's not real, right? So it's like, and what's so scary about watching a 90-minute webinar? What's so scary about paying the $149? The worst case that can happen is you lose that $149, right? But what if that $149 could completely change your life, right? Give you a multiple 5 figures income, and to be able to travel the world with no worry, or be present for your kid's life. Is it worth it to risk that $149? But I promise you'll get it back. But I'm just saying, I can understand from your point of view, it is a risk, but I'm just saying, like, is it worth it, right? Is it worth it to risk that $149 where it can give you that opportunity, that chance to be present for your kid's life, like to be there for your parents and help them out and be able to secure your retirement income for the future. So that's all I have to leave with you guys.
Thank you, Coach Karen. Yes, if you can hear what Coach Karen said, if you can actually change your life because of that $149, are you willing to change your life because of that? Because you can actually, there's so many people that has changed their life for doing that. So, and of course, the $149 is risk free. You can actually get it back if you decided that this business is not for you. So you're not gonna lose anything. So that is all for us. Thank you, Coach Karen, and thank you so much for being on my show. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and to everybody, happy, blessed Wednesday, everyone, and bye.
Goodbye, everyone.